Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah, I seem to be running a little bit low on the volume on my mic. So I'm going to take care of that real quick. See what we can do here. That ought to do it. So I turned it up a little bit. Hopefully I don't sound too bad. We'll see what happens. Let's see. So this morning, wake up and the appointed person to go for the CFTC chief position is going to be going in front of the Senate. So that sounds good, right? We'll see what happens. He is absolutely pro crypto, handpicked. This is the second time that Michael Selig is going through this process. He was pulled back before. I guess there were problems, and we'll see what happens. Then you've got Bitwise. Chainlink ETF is on its way, it seems. Chainlink ETF, CLNK appeared on the DTCC registry, signaling potential SEC approval. However, regulatory hurdles and a 42-day U.S. government shutdown delay is actually being a problem. But that could happen very soon. You show up on the DTCC and registry, and it's very rare that it gets pulled back. Not very rare, but it's rare that it gets pulled back. So that actually could be happening soon. You want to know what else is happening soon? Tomorrow there could be a Canary XRP ETF. That could bode well for the market. See what I mean by good news? So it really depends on when the government really starts to come back from, this hiatus from, not doing their job, and we'll see what happens. JP Morgan, it has released the JP Morgan coin, or JPM coin, and that's for institutions to be able to go back and forth with all their stuff now, with all the transactions. Now, for me, I'm sitting here and I'm kind of going, we needed that coin. Why? Now, I don't think that there's anything tied to the coin from a monetary perspective other than the value that it holds, but the coin itself, right? So we'll see what happens. Coin from a monetary perspective other than the value that it holds, but the coin itself, right? So we'll see what happens. Well, we'll turn that off. So I'm not 100% sure about who's actually going to jump onto the coin, who's actually going to use it, but it's meant to be able to handle 24/7 settlements, and it's built on Base, right? Something that I think about all the time is, well, isn't that in direct competition with XRP? So I want to see who adopts this, because XRP isn't owned by an institution, right? Well, actually, technically, I guess it is owned by an institution now. I think Ripple is an institution at the moment. So right now, but it's not owned by a traditional institution, meaning that it's outside the banking system from that perspective. So would all the banks kind of rally toward XRP, or would they start using, like maybe in groups, start using JPM coin? We'll see what happens. But I found that to be very interesting. Japan's JPYC secret plan to take down the US stablecoin market by having its own stablecoin, JPYC. It's not going to take down anybody's market. It's tied to the yen. It's completely different. Just saying. But it's there. Since its October 27th launch, JPYC has issued 143 million yen in tokens, targeting a $10 trillion yen over 3 years. Now, the idea is that they think it's going to be that big of a market. We'll have to see what happens. Then in UAE, they had their CBDC pilot actually go well. We'll see what happens with that. Visa's got something going on. Visa launched a pilot program in the United States allowing businesses to send US dollar-pegged stablecoin payouts via crypto wallets, announced at the Web Summit in Lisbon. Now, the initiative is a part of Visa Direct and enables instant transfers of USDC and other stablecoins, targeting gig workers and international businesses, meaning that gig workers could start getting paid via crypto. Now, I want you to stop and think about this. Remember what I said about, well, there's got to be a point where, people start getting paid in crypto, businesses start getting paid in crypto, and start paying in crypto. Do you see it starting now? Now you know why I was paying attention to all of the action that was going on from an infrastructure perspective. This is a big infrastructure move. So we were waiting for Visa to have some kind of a comeback from MasterCard, that whole, zero hash thing. Haven't heard anything about that yet, but I'm hoping to find out what's going on with zero hash, and I want to see if they actually close on that deal. But this is a great response from Visa, right? Because it gets them in front of people. And I won't be surprised if Visa snatches up a company or two, right? Then here's something else. HSBC just lost a couple of their gold heads, meaning the people that run their gold division for HSBC just got snatched by Tether because Tether's looking to build up their gold reserves. That ought to tell you something. That tells me Tether's seeing really big profit and they want to build up in gold. And remember, they were building up in U.S. Treasuries. RBA's shocking warning: geopolitical risks are way worse than you think. At least that's the message that they want these businesses to understand, right? The Reserve Bank of Australia raised alarms about underappreciated geopolitical risks and market complacency, citing fragmented central bank reserve management, rising gold holdings by select nations. Yeah. All those rumors that you heard with all of these countries running out and buying gold, they were true. That's what they're saying. It's also true that they're saying that, hey, whoever's investing, you might not be paying attention to geopolitical risks as much as you should. That's something else to contemplate. Again, I'm just looking at what my risk register says and what my opportunity list says. And at any given point, one of them's going to give, right? One of them's going to give way to the other. And I pay attention to that every day. Every day. What else is going on? Evernorth's $1 billion XRP bet. They're looking to become a treasury company handling XRP. We'll see what happens with that. I don't think it's a bad move, but I don't understand the move either. Chinese Evernorth digital asset management firm launched a $1 billion XRP fund, ticker XRPN, set to list on NASDAQ in the first quarter of 2026. The fund will actively deploy XRP in DeFi ecosystems for yield generation, meaning they want to make money off that XRP, marking a shift from passive crypto holdings. This isn't a small change by this company. This is a big change. Now you know why I want to pay attention to it. China is also cracking down on offshore crypto trading, and because it takes money out of the system. Chinese tax authorities intensified enforcement against unreported foreign investment earnings, with 6 major cities issuing unified warnings. High-profile cases like Fu's 7 million yuan fine highlight the push to recover unpaid taxes amid a budget shortfall. Amid a budget shortfall. Right there, that phrase. What does it say to you? What does it say to you? Because what it says to me is China is not doing so hot. China's hurting a little bit. That's what I'm paying attention to. Remember when I said the global economy is having a problem? This is what I mean. The global economy is having a problem. And we need to be awakened to that. I don't think enough people are paying attention to it. I really don't. So for me, I sit here and I kind of go, yeah, we should probably pay more attention than what we have. Like far more attention than what we have. Right? Geopolitical issues also mean big issues with regard to economies. So on a global level, we've got problems. There are very few countries that are okay economically. And so at some point, something's got to give. Somebody's got to say, well, we're going to have to either forgive debt or we're going to have to hit a reset on debt. Something's going to have to give, and I don't know what it's going to be. And that's why you start looking at geopolitical tensions, because in the past. I don't want to use the W word, but let's call it conflict. Okay? Now you know why I'm paying attention to this. Except now, nobody actually wants to fight. Nobody really wants to get into a real war. None of the superpowers want to do that. Because that has huge implications. Huge. So nobody really wants that. Which is why I'm still paying attention to what's going on in Venezuela. Because that could bring on conflict. And not just regional. So a lot to pay attention to. With this new regime right now in the United States, you've got to watch the flailing of the arms and everything else because everything is a distraction. And I know why I'm hyper-focused on my bags. Hyper-focused. Anyway, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. And nobody told me I didn't have my logo up again. Oh, that's painful. That's all right. But let's start with Dow futures. Dow futures expected implied open 67 up. S&P futures implied open 24.25 up. NASDAQ futures implied open 165.5 up. Oil down 0.59. US 10-year down 0.025. Then you've got earnings on the map. You've got Cisco. There's probably nobody else. Circle Internet Group. So that's somebody else I'm going to pay attention to. Who else? Dillard's is supposed to happen at some point. There's usually more. Okay, that's it for this week that I'm paying attention to. You might be paying attention to others. Again, it's all about your risk framework. Then you've got U.S. economic calendar. You see how it's blank? Yeah. Ain't nothing going on right now. They got to get their butts back to work. Crypto fear and greed index is at 24. It's at 26 yesterday, and it was at 23 the day before. DeFi Llama, we only have $133.444 billion in total value locked. That's an interesting number. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy out there. Just saying. It's absolutely nuts, and we need to be paying attention to it all. BTC, let me move this in the middle of the screen so I can watch it more efficiently, and there you go. Now you're looking at BTC. We took a dive down. We were headed toward the right direction. We need to get above this line. We took a dip. Looks like we're trying to battle back and start to get back to where we were as of last night. We'll see. But we seem to be moving between bands right now. And I want to get away from that. I want to be back up here. If we're back up here, we're in a good place. We're in a good place if we're back up there. But down here, And I gotta say, the only reason why I believe that we're down here this far is because of manipulation. Look over here. No, look over here. No, look over here. No, look over here. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. And then you have Michael Burry out there saying, yeah, I expect Oracle and Meta to be filing inflated revenue through 2028. What? Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm paying attention to all of that. Right? And there's more news out there. I have 20 different articles that I was going to bring up today. Just too much news for a single episode. Let's see if we can get this to load. Did not get that to load. It's taking its sweet time, that's for sure. There you go, because I like looking at the big board. And you can see everything, a lot of things that you'd be interested in are down. Why is this not loading? Oh, that's right. Steven's still working. My bad. Sorry, folks. My guys are still working because we're trying to launch over the weekend. Excuse me. So BTC at 104, ETH 35, BNB, BCH, Sol. If you're into that kind of thing, still not breaking 160. We need it to be above 160. We need 88 to be above 60. We need SUI to stay above $2. But there are a lot of things on sale right now. A lot of things on sale. And that's what I'm paying attention to. I know that on Aster, which is one of the coins that I'm playing with, it's currently at 117. Yeah, I'm paying attention to Aster because that's something that at about 121 I might be looking to get out. That would be a 10% rise for me. That would be a 10% rise for me. So yeah, I'm looking at these prices right now to see, well, what should I be doing? So I'm just waiting. Just waiting. And we'll see what happens. Again, I identified a coin, I paid attention to that coin, and now I'm playing the rhythm of that coin. And hopefully I keep playing it to my advantage because I've been growing by little pieces. 10% here, 13% there, 20% there. I've just been growing by little pieces. That's it. That's the game plan. Grow in little bites, little pieces. You know what? I had made another purchase, Chainlink, and I'm a little ahead on Chainlink. But Chainlink also is one of those. Do I feel like selling? Even though it's in my trading wallet, I don't know that I feel like selling it, but I'm gonna wait because I think that's gonna pay off for me. But I might play the volatility because we have a lot of turbulence ahead, in my humble opinion. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Sorry for the short show, but I've got to get down to the city and I have a lot of stuff to do before I go down to the city. So I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about us, and absolutely become a member. Become a member. Membership has its benefits, and we've got a lot of benefits coming, like our own private social media platform. Works just like other social media platforms, but is geared toward one topic only, and that is investing. Something else that's going to be great about this, because you've got to pay to get in, guess what? We're going to have far less bots than everybody else because we'll be diligent about that. You'll also be within a community that the only thing that we really care about is helping each other grow our bags. That means there's going to be a lot of information floating around. And depending on what group you join, there could be a lot of stuff. The first group that's out there is the Big Baggers Club. That meets once a month via video conference. And that'll probably increase, but that meets once a month via video conference. Just all the big baggers talking about what they have going on, sharing information, sharing thoughts and ideas. That's huge, huger than huge. And we've got tools that are going to be launching as well. So hope that helps. Anyway, everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. I will fight for that every day. Remember, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you tonight on the Crypto Overflow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.